All right, so now we're going to be talking about Cardano, but before we do so, please make sure to hit the subscribe button in our YouTube channel, right? So you can be updated about all the hottest cryptocurrencies in the market. You can also follow us or follow me at Ali_charts in Twitter. You can also follow my co-host at Akash at Makiko with a 0 at the end, and you can follow Jonathan at Just Analysis 1. Now, when we look at Cardano, right, I mean, one of the things that I noticed is that basically the activity of wealth and institutional investors on the network has significantly decreased since September 7th. As you can see, these on-chain metrics basically pretty much stay flat without basically telling us that there's not that much interest from basically large investors on this point, right? So until we see another spike in the number of large transactions with a greater value of $100,000 on the network, you know, it's really hard to be leaning bullish on Cardano. Also, when I look at the you know, at the transaction history, it does seems like Cardano recently broke below a significant level of support. That price point at $2.20 actually could mark the beginning of a downtrend for this cryptocurrency, right? I believe that these addresses have not sold yet, right? Because I mean, it does seem like Bitcoin is feeling a little bit bullish and there is a little bit of optimism in the market. But if Cardano were to break below 1.90 cents or to close on a daily time frame basis below 1.90 cents, I believe that these, you know, 196,000 addresses that basically bought 7.51 billion ADA, they'll be encouraged to sell, right, to prevent their investments from going out of the money and to prevent themselves from incurring bigger losses, right? So if Cardano were to close below 1.90, the potential sell-off could push its price back down towards 1.60, $1.70. That's what I can see, right? I mean, yeah, because the next significant area of support basically sits at 1.71, and then after that, I mean, the next significant area of support is at 1.50, right? So the least that we want is for these number of addresses basically to sell their holdings or panic sell their holdings if Cardano continues heading lower. But yeah, I mean, I gotta say that I'm leaning more bearish than anything on Cardano, you know, just because it lost this area of support. If it's able to go back above 2.20, right, and close above back from 2.20, then I'll be leaning more bullish, as you know, the next significant area of resistance for Cardano will basically sit at around $2.76, right? But for that to happen, Cardano needs to close about 2.20. And if it closes below 1.90, then it will most likely dive towards 1.71 or even $1.50. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing for Cardano from an on-chain perspective. I don't know if from a technical perspective you're seeing something different, Jonathan.
Nope, it looks bearish and kind of have that outlook for month or a little over a month. I've been looking at it as being pretty bearish. I mean, just look at the weekly chart. You have a rising wedge, and then I mean this kind of price action itself is just painful for people who are short-term speculators. You know, you look at these weekly candlesticks. I mean, they're just very, very, very aggravating for traders because, again, there's no clear direction. You get these periods where you're like, oh my God, it's going to break out. And then you're like, oh my God, it's going to collapse. And then it just kind of goes back to the mean. But now we have you know, we closed below the wedge last week, and we're continuing to push down below it. That doesn't mean it's going to keep going, but the structure here, I mean, I've had this bearish pennant on here for a while, and now we're getting, I mean, this is Ichimoku wise, it's very ugly if we get a close below the cloud here, because everything points to a pretty steep drop. The only near-term support here is the 50% fib retracement at 207, where price is finding support and the lagging span is. But then below that, there isn't a support structure in the Ichimoku system until the Chiku span hits Senko span B, which coincides with the 618 retracement at 1.89. So that's where I would see it going down to a near term support zone that's at that 190 level. But then below that, I mean, it can go even lower. I don't have a fib expansion drawn on here, but I mean, just doing a conservative one from the prior swing structure, we get that 100% extensions down at 172, 171. So yeah, I mean, there's actually at 190 seems to be a pretty strong support level. Just looking at that 618 extension and the retracement, 618 retracement there. So yeah, it's that's the upper part of the volume profile here. Volume profile is very thin between $2 and $1.80. I mean, that should be a pretty swift move below there, but yeah, I won't be full on bull mode until, like I say with everything else, the close is above the cloud and the lagging spans above the candlesticks, and that won't occur until today till like 258-ish, so something like that.
Okay, perfect. So I mean, with that symmetrical triangle that you drew in there, it does seem like maybe you need to redraw it a little bit, but it does seem to be breaking to the downside, right? And we had that, or if it's perfectly drawn, then we have that fake out on the upside, and now
Yes,
it's heading lower, right?
Yeah, I've had this on here for a while, and yeah, the fake out here was definitely a fake out. You can see it just consistently got rejected against that 382 retracement, and then when it fell back in, I mean, that's one of the things with any triangle pattern is when it breaks out, that's something to watch, because especially with symmetrical triangles, they have the highest failure rate out of all chart patterns. When they break out, they also end up being one of the most profitable because they end up trapping a lot of people on the initial break. So, when you see this here, you see a lot of people going, "Oh my God, it broke out of a triangle," blah blah blah. But it's definitely weighted to the downside because the prior move was lower. It's a bearish pennant. So when it comes back in, though, I mean, the people who bought up here are probably a little nervous. Not as nervous as the people who bought over here, but they're still pretty nervous, and they're going to eventually join the sell side of this market if it fails to rally higher.
Okay. And then on the downside, I mean, what is the target from this symmetrical triangle?
I mean, near term 190 at the extreme, I'd say 172. But there's a lot of pending limit orders in that 190 to 190 range.
Okay.
So that's what I see.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically also what the on-chain metrics show, right? I mean, that now that basically seems to be losing support. I mean, that's the next price point. I mean, that breaks then 171 and 150 from an on-chain perspective become the next potential bearish targets. But yeah, what about you, Akash? Are you maybe seeing anything different from a lower term perspective?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's different, but so the last time we discussed, I think it was just me and Jonathan. We were looking at this same pennant formation, symmetrical triangle formation. It kind of did break above this declining trend line, and then it retested this 2.38 resistance level, failed to go above it, and like since then it's been dropping. And right now, so like I explained last time, I was looking forward to this triple tap setup around this level here, which is 1.90. And this could also lead to a formation of a descending triangle, but I'm a little uncomfortable with the amount of space that's present here, the gap. So I'm not going to lean on more on this triangle pattern, but just rely on this triple top formation, triple tap setup. So based on that, I'm at least looking at the 50 fib, which from let's say here is roughly a 25% upswing. But ideally, I'm looking for the liquidity resting above these swing highs here formed. Not sure when this is blocking. Hold up. Right, so formed around 11 September. and 12 September, right? So anything above these levels would be like a good point, good run up, right? So that would be a 40% upswing. So that's what I'm looking at for Cardano. But in case we breach this zone here, which is 1.90 to 1.99 roughly, $2, 1.9 to $2, I think we're going to reach this level here, 1.8. This doesn't matter because it was a symmetrical triangle. Let me just clear that. Yep. So it's 1.8 and then directly 1.6 and 1.45. Right. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm leaning bullish on Cardano for now.
So basically, I mean, a retest of that 1.90 level to you will be basically a golden opportunity to buy this cryptocurrency before it heads higher, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. I mean, and on the upside, you're basically targeting new all-time highs.
No, not all-time highs. Like for now, from like a short to midterm perspective, it's a 70.5 fib here, 2.756. But ideally, I wanted to collect liquidity above these swing highs. So probably a retest of 79 fib at 2.86.
Okay. Yeah, those levels coincide with what the IO map is saying, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that 190 level. I think that from an on-chart perspective and from a technical perspective, just like Akash and Jonathan have stated, right? That's a key level of support right there that will determine the fate of this cryptocurrency. If it breaks below it, from a technical perspective, and as well as what Jonathan was saying, the next bearish target basically becomes something around 1.71, and then breaking below that, then 1.50 could be the next potential bearish target. But on the upside, at least from a technical, I mean, from an on-chart perspective, we'll need to wait for a reclaim of the 2.20 support level, or right, if that level is basically, if that resistance level is reclaimed as support, then Cardano could potentially advance further towards 276 as the on-chain and the technicals point, right? So now it's just a matter of waiting and seeing whether 1.90 will hold and present basically a buy opportunity for another, upswing toward 276, or if it basically breaks and we could see Cardano dive towards 271 or even 150.